All right, give me 1 minute. Let me tell you a story. It's a life-changing story. It was life-changing for me. Very likely to be life-changing for you. By the way, I got LASIK, so I don't have my glasses. It's kind of cool. First time since I was 17 that I haven't needed glasses to drive. So the story. If you want to, let me tell you who should listen to this story. If you don't want to do what other people do, if you don't want to have an average life, listen to this story. If you don't want to have an average life, listen to this story. Like Thoreau said, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. What is called resignation is confirmed desperation. So most people in the world live in a life of confirmed desperation, okay? When I was 16, I realized life's basically impossible to live correctly. Everybody you meet, every adult you meet, life full of regrets. I don't care how old you are, people older than you look back at their life and say, I just want a do-over. But there's no do-overs in life. That's the problem. They say life's like a parachute jump. You only have one chance. You mess up the chance, there is no second chances. You hit the ground and you fail. And most people, they say 80% of people don't like the three most important things in their life. Their career, how they grew up, and who they're married to or who they're attached to. Friends, family, their social circle's not right. Income's not right. They don't like where they live. They don't like the routine. They don't like the 9-to-5 grind, like all this stuff. So I was 16. I realized that I was a little bit ahead of the game. And I started thinking, I was like, how can I not be like everybody else? Everybody else I see has the same regrets. They hate their job. They don't make enough money. They feel isolated. They're depressed. They're not traveling enough. They're not happy. They're not free. And so what dawned upon me was, why don't I just ask all the people that have way more experience what the solution is? But I bumped into a problem with that, because you can't ask people who didn't succeed how to succeed. Like if you want to know how to win at basketball or football, your best person to talk to is someone who won a championship. If you just ask the average person, just because they're older doesn't mean they know anything. In fact, older can just mean cynical, and in a way you know less because you're not open to new ideas. So my first test didn't work. I just started asking people all the solutions to life, like what I should do for my career, how should I make money, and I was more confused than ever. So then I bumped into this mentor a little bit later, this guy named Alan Nation. He said, no, Tai, the secret in life is to ignore 99 out of 100 people, but when you find the one person who actually knows what they're talking about, like actually listen. So I was like, that makes sense. So the real secret is knowing who to fully ignore and knowing who to fully listen to. And the crazy thing is you might have to ignore like someone close to you, like your parents. Just because you're born to your parents, that's just fate, randomness, you could say, in a way. It doesn't mean you were born to the wisest people that can give you the best answers, especially when it comes to making money. Unlike I grew up, I remember, it's funny, in this story that I'm telling you, the story continues all the way to my life. Now, last month I had a guy at my house named Tillman Fertitta. He's a billionaire. He's worth $4.9 billion. The Forbes list just came out. He owns the Houston Rockets. He owns the Golden Nugget casinos. He owns 600 restaurants. And he has 60,000 employees. And I'm working on a big deal. I just bought a huge company. I bought a company that's doing $740 million in revenue. And I bought it after I talked to him. So last month I talked to him. This month I bought the company. And I asked him specific questions that only that guy could answer. The only person I know a handful of billionaires. I know a handful of people, not just billionaires, but people who have like, they've pulled off what everybody wants in life. They've got like the trifecta. They've got everything, you know. They call it triple threat. These people have it. I'm not saying they're perfect. You could dissect anybody's life and find stupid stuff. But this guy gave me insight that no college could give me, no university, no degree, none of my friends growing up, none of my family growing up. So I think back, I'm 16 years old. I'm totally lost. I start asking everybody. That doesn't work. I meet a mentor. He says, be more selective in who you listen to. 1 out of 100 rule. I call it the 1 out of 100 rule. And really, I think the rule is more like 1 out of 100,000 or 1 out of a million. And this guy, Tillman Fertitta, this is just an example. Now, in my point in my life now, I know quite a few people like this. But there's not many of them in the world. And when I was young, the problem was I had access to nobody with answers. Nobody. And so I went through life and I stumbled here. And I'm looking back, all the things I'm doing now that I love about my life, not my life's not perfect, but all the things I do love, I could have done, I wasted 10 years. And I promise you this, if you're watching this, if you don't understand what I'm saying in this story, you will waste 10 years of your life. And you don't have to waste those 10 years. The only thing you can't get back is the years of your life. So you look at your life now, I promise you, you're behind, just like I was behind. And I'm still behind. But I now have a shortcut, a way of finding answers. So let's just say you hate your job. Let's just say you want to make more money. I remember the first time I figured out how to make $100,000 a year. Before I was making zero. I literally had less than $100 in my bank account. And I started listening to some people. I listened to this guy named Corey Rudel. Never even met him, but I bought books and he had this course. And he's like, here's how you make $100,000. And within 9 months, I made $100,000. I learned to use Google Ads, generate leads. I was working for GE Capital back then. And it worked. Like everybody else, I was looking around me going, what's going on? And I realized they weren't being selective in who they listened to. They were just listening to their mom, their dad, their uncle, their friend of friend. They were reading the magazine or newspaper, getting a little bit from Twitter and all that. Forget that. I became a hyper-focused listener. I became selective in who I listened to. At that point in my life, I just listened to Corey Rudel. I said, yo, let me just follow what this guy says. Let me not listen to 38,000 people and get all confused. One person. And I remember I paid like $500 and I got this 3-ring binder in the mails when I was living in Raleigh, North Carolina. Get this 3-ring binder. I start reading it. I was living in a mobile home at the time, believe it or not. Basically homeless because I didn't have a bed. I was sleeping on a couch. I couldn't afford rent before I got this Corey Rudel thing, and I had slowly saved up a little bit of money. I had this little job, saved up like $500, bought this guy's training, and he trained me, and it worked. Sadly, Corey Rudel, I never got to think of him in person. He died in a car accident in 2008. He made so much money, he had all these Lambos and Porsches, and he crashed his Porsche into a cliff, actually, in La Jolla, California. Sad story, but he changed a lot of lives, including my life, and that's his legacy, and that's, most people don't even leave a legacy, so, but that wasn't, like, so then I knew how to make $100,000, but then I was like, man, life has more. I don't want to live an average life. I want to be growing. I want to be doing new things. And so, nightclub business. I was like, I want to get in the nightclub business. But once again, who do I listen to? Do I ask my friends? I didn't know. I grew up with a family, never met a millionaire. First time I met a millionaire. I never met a billionaire, obviously growing up. Never met a millionaire. I remember when I was about 17, 18 years old. I was still at home. Our church, I went to a church called Covenant Church in Raleigh, North Carolina. My parents went to. And these people, the Parasos, they made $1 million in our whole family and the whole church. And because I grew up like middle class when I was younger, like lower middle class or even more on the poor side. But my mom got remarried. My stepdad worked at the post office, made $50,000 a year. So all of a sudden we're moving up, and then we met this family, the Parasos, that were millionaires. And I remember, but I was still like 17. So I never really learned anything from them. That was the first time I ever met a millionaire. And I got a little advice from him, believe it or not. But not much. Because I hadn't really absorbed this way of selectively listening to people. So I then get a little bit older, start meeting sharp people, smart people, people who have the answer. Corey Rudel is one of them. Then I meet this guy, Giorgio Bataxias. He owns restaurants and nightclubs in Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina. So I went to him and I was like, hey, and he had this partner, Jay, Giorgio and Jay. I said, will you guys teach me? And they started teaching. I remember the first thing they taught me about a nightclub. Keep it, don't make it too big of a nightclub where it looks empty. They're like, close the doors, shut some walls off, make the thing feel like people like to feel like they're in a packed place. You don't want it too packed where it's like fire hazard, but that little tip, you'd be surprised how many people don't know that. I started learning selectively. I didn't ask anybody. I didn't ask my friends, my mom, nobody. I just selectively listened to a mentor. That's the whole point of this story, by the way. And then I created 2 sources of income. I was making 6 figures here and 6 figures here. was like, put those two together. I was like, wow, I'm making more money than anybody in my family. My dad's from Harlem. You know, his dad worked in a Subway. I'm not from multi-generations of wealth. Not from the Rockefellers, the Rothschild, J.P. Morgan, none of that, you know. And so my dad was in prison when I was born. Nothing. But by selectively learning, I began to skyrocket financially and just in life freedom and happiness past my friends, past people I went to high school, past people that I didn't go to college, but past people who went to college and I didn't go to college. And all of a sudden I'm going, man, there's something to this. And I followed that selective listening to the right people my whole life. But now I raised the ante. Like I said, last month I'm meeting, you know, those of you who watch my videos, you see Mark Cuban, you see people, Steve Ballmer. You know, Steve Ballmer's now worth $52 billion. I had dinner with him not too long ago. I had a long conversation about the direction of my life in business. This is a guy who's $52,000 million. He's worth listening to. Each conversation like that shapes and molds and changes my life. And so what I'm trying to say to you is, if you don't have that in your life, forget what anyone tells you. A lot of people that don't know what they're talking about say, no, you can just learn by doing. Well, yeah, you do learn by doing. That's true, but so like if you want to learn to play basketball, you learn by actually playing basketball. Yeah, but every basketball player in history had coaches they listened to. Everyone, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. I've become friends with quite a few. Chris Paul's a good buddy of mine. He has had coaches his whole life, you know. I was just at a Laker game. I know Anthony Davis. He's had coaches his whole life. So yeah, you learn by doing combined with being coached by people who know what they're talking about. You don't just go, nobody just goes and plays any sport. But when it comes to life, nobody follows that rule. That's why people's lives suck. People are awesome at sports, but most people's lives suck for one simple reason. Who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? And so if you could begin to do what Alan Nation said, is the secret to life is to ignore 99 out of 100 people. But when you find that one person who knows what they're talking about, do everything they say, your life will transform. It'll transform this week, this month, this year, and over the whole course of your life, however long you're here on planet Earth. I guarantee that. As long as you're listening, adapting, and becoming a learning machine. Now, let me just say, I'm not guaranteeing you're going to be a millionaire overnight, because most people you listen to that are smart, they'll tell you that's probably not going to happen. It happens fast for some people, but in general, you got to put a little work, a little time. But what I'm saying is you can transform your life, the direction of your life. You're trying to go north. Right now you're going south. You can flip that compass, that direction north almost overnight. You don't always see it fill up your bank account right away. You don't always see your life go from drudgery, 9 to 5, drudgery to excitement overnight. But the direction can change faster than you can imagine. In fact, many ways the direction of your life changes in a blink of an eye when you make the decision to change your course. So I guess what I'm saying is, I got lucky. For some reason at 16, this thought came into my life that I need to figure out how to not just learn through trial and error. It's like Warren Buffett says, you only learn through mistakes, but there's no rule they have to be your own mistakes. Meaning, just learn from other people's mistakes. Tilma Fertitta. I was getting ready to buy a big company. This company did $69 million last month. I own it now. Well, I talked to him first. You can see I did an interview, a public one, but I had a private conversation with her too offline, and I'm like, hey, how do you buy? Because this is a guy who buys companies. Like, he bought the Houston Rockets for $2.2 billion. He's qualified. So you need to be selective. You need to find who's qualified, and then you need to adapt. That's the 3 things that can change your life. Be very selective. Know who's qualified. So you have to know who's qualified, because a lot of people try to BS you and say, oh yeah, I'm qualified, blah, 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 I got an MBA, blah, blah. No, that's not what makes you qualified. You're qualified for what you've done. Like if you want to know how to lift heavy weights, you need to find somebody who can bench press 500 pounds. They're qualified. You can see it with your own eyes. It's like Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. Oh, I trust you're an expert. Let me see you bench press. Okay, you bench press 500 pounds. You probably know a little bit about lifting weights. You want to make $1 million? Okay, let me see how you made $1 million. By the way, if people can't show it, it's probably not true. Tilma Fertitta is on the Forbes list. So you can see. You can usually tell what people have by looking at their life. It's not, sometimes people fake it and they say fake it till you make it and a little bit of that. But in general, watch people for a year or two or three and the truth comes out about where they are, especially financially. So now, here's why I'm saying all this. A lot of people, I've got over 10 million social media followers. Every single day, I got bombarded with DMs and messages and Facebook Messenger and snaps and all this, and they all say the same thing. Hey, lay out, what's the secret? You know, what's the number one way to make more money? What's the number one way to... And I'm like, listen, I came up with this thought about a year ago, but I haven't really shared it much because I've been so busy in the last year. I'm going to take you from a white to black belt. I do jujitsu. So you got belts in jujitsu, right? Got white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt, and then you can go coral belt and red belt, okay? You got all these different belts. So what if I could make you a black belt in what I call the 4 pillars of the good life? Health, wealth, love, happiness. You got to have all 4. You can't just be wealthy and miserable. Can't be just wealthy and so out of shape you die. You got to have the whole package. So I did a little test group, and some of you have seen it. It's called 5-Minute Mentor. Give me 5 minutes a day, transform your life. I'm going to share a 5-minute nugget every single day for a year. Take you from white belt. Each month you get a new belt. I just like the belt thing because it kind of makes you understand that there's a goal, and you hit the goal, and then you go to the next goal. Goal setting. I'm going to teach you everything that I've learned from mentors, every little bit. And these are people you'll never get access to, most likely. Or if you do, it'll take you a long time to get access. It took me a long time to get access to these people. So I'm going to give you something. You won't hear this at Harvard. You won't hear this in any book. You won't hear this at any conference. I'm going to open up behind the scenes in little 5-minute chunks every day something to you. Okay? On health, wealth, love, happiness. Everything I've learned. Not that I'm the perfect expert on all of them. So some of what I'm teaching you in these 5-minute daily mentor lessons is what I've learned through from myself, but a lot of it is what I've learned from other people. And I want to just make it so easy for you to get access. This is going to, and I'm going to price it basically so low, like around Netflix price, maybe a little couple bucks more than Netflix. You know, so it's like 50 cents a day or something like that. Somewhere around that. And here's the thing. I'm going to make a test group. And I've never done this. This will be my first test group. Just like I did my 67 steps, my social media marketing, this is the first test group for my 5-minute mentor. What I'm going to do, you're going to become a founding member. You're going to get 2 years. Because this is a yearly program, but you focus on 1 year at a time, month by month, day by day, month by month. Then you finish a year. Then you can kind of go, that's the black belt. Then the second year is to work on getting your red belt, which is like super advanced stuff. And so you're going to get 2 years. I'm going to put a link below. You click, you're going to get 2 years. And then you're also going to get, and this is something I've never done, over the first 60 days that you click and get in this test group, this 5-minute mentor test group, I'm going to actually get on live calls with you each week. Either me or my mentors will be on these calls, my business partners, and I'm going to actually walk you through the first 60 days. Anybody else who's ever gone in this in the past, I released it a little bit, a few of the lessons. They didn't get any of that. They didn't get 2 years. They did not get live calls. We're going to do Zoom calls. You just go on your phone, and I'll be there. I can answer questions. It'll be in a group setting. My goal is to take 300 people. Massive. You know the movie 300? 300 people changed the world in history. Give me 300 people that have been trained in everything they should have taught you in school. And I want to talk about for a second what you're actually going to learn. I wrote out a whole list, just an example of what you're going to learn. So, let me switch. I'm going to walk over to my laptop. By the way, I'm in Toronto. I bought this company. We're opening offices around the world. So, I'm here in Toronto. So, I got my laptop with me. I want to read with you the list of what you're about to learn. Okay, just a little bit. I wrote down like 50 things. There's more because it's 365 lessons. Okay, it's just simple. I promise you this. It's the best money you've ever spent on anything. It costs about less than a book for 365 daily lessons sent to you on your phone private, password protected. No one else gets this. You get access to the group. You get access to me and my mentors training you. Change your life, change your income, change your career. Let's talk about what you're about to learn. Okay, I moved my phone so I can read off this list. I made a list of the lessons I've recorded and working on. Cool thing about this 5-minute mentor program is I can like change it at any time, update stuff. So I'm just going to do this in no particular order. It's all about health, wealth, love, happiness. So we're going to talk on different subjects every day. There'll be things on each of these. So it won't just be about how to make money, how to improve your income, how to change your career, how to launch businesses, but it'll be a lot of that, obviously, heavy emphasis on that. So what we're talking about, I want to train you on things that I've done. So I want to show you how I got 1 million Instagram followers in 30 days. Okay, my formula that I did it. No fake followers, using no bots, none of that. All US basically, so it wasn't like, some followers that weren't my ideal target market. I'm gonna teach you how to read people using my PACE system. Very important, PASE. Really, to make more money is mostly about reading people because people have money. You want investors, you gotta know how to read people. You wanna be better at marketing, you want a promotion, you want to get your boss to do it, it's all people. It's all people. I'm going to teach you a lot about what I learned in how to acquire companies. What I learned, I just bought a $740 million revenue company, very complicated deal. I want to pull back the curtain behind, because I never saw this growing up. Like, the real deal of what makes money is a lot different than you think. Totally different. God, I wish... You're lucky you're getting this. I swear if I could go back in time and stumble across this video you're watching now, the most important thing I've ever taught. I'm talking about how to negotiate multi-million-dollar deals down to small deals, how to negotiate and buy a house, how to negotiate and buy a business, how to negotiate with investors, how to negotiate with a business partner, okay? So you don't lose. I'm going to teach you, me and my business partner, Alex, he'll be helping me. He'll be teaching I'm going to show you what we learned from spending over $500 million on Facebook, YouTube, and Google ads. It's a lot. We got a lot to teach you. I'm going to show you how I've kind of automated my life, to make, on most days, my businesses make between $100,000 and $500,000. Sometimes $1 million in one day, but let's just say 100. Usually 100 is pretty low, but business is doing, like I said, 100,000 to $1 million a day. I want to there's a lot of what I'm going to teach you in 5-minute mentor is around that. I'm going to teach you about affiliates, okay? How you can use affiliates or be an affiliate as a side hustle. I'll show you how I do it to make 7 figures a year. Obviously, I have a bigger following, but it could be scaled down. I want to talk about, man, there's a lot of stuff. Virality. I'm just going to read these fast because I got 58 listed. The foolproof message to approaching the right people and networking. Most people do it so wrong. Okay. How to build a website correctly. How to spot red flags on a website and even get paid as a consultant to solve them. I'm going to show you how to spot $1 million trends 5 years ahead of time. I've always been 5 to 10 years ahead of time. Big part of you changing your life is seeing trends before other people. I want to talk about how to call, how to use the phone. I use my phone now even more than I use the internet. So I'm going to talk about the phone. Talk about using Amazon to create multiple streams of income. I want to show you how to build a life plan for the next 10 years. I want to show you about your daily routine, how to use 18-minute increments. I use this method called the Pomodoro method that I've adapted a little bit. I want to talk about taking naps, power naps. You want to be a powerful person, take a power nap. I want to show a little technique that I pioneered over the years. I want to show you where to find mentors. I want to show you how I read a book a day. I want to teach you the 25 cognitive biases so you understand psychology, that you can use that in every area of life, not just business, but you can use that to be happier. You can use that for friends, family, romance. I want to talk to you about how to build teams that do things for you. Andrew Carnegie, arguably the second richest person of all time, or at least in U.S. history. He said he didn't ever have to work more than 2 hours a day. Maybe at the beginning he worked, but in his 20s he changed his life routine by delegation to 2 hours a day. and he was worth about 450 billion in modern dollars. I want to talk about the ideal education versus entertainment ratio. How do you balance life and be happy but also be growing? I want to talk about the man on the moon analogy that makes even the most confusing situations in your life clear as day. I want to talk about how to turn cash flow on during your time off. Very important. If you can make money 24/7 versus 8 hours a day, you have to make much less money per hour because the clock's working for you. I want to talk about creating your one-sentence Eulerian destiny plan. It's important that you figure out what in the heck you're on planet Earth for. I've got a way to triangulate and figure that out, okay? And it's not just about money. It's like your overall destiny. Life begins, they say, this is a cliche, life begins the day you figure out why the heck you're here. So I want to talk about how to find and hire and manage teams of people. Finding them's the trick. Finding the right people. I want to show you how to create landing pages that convert. A lot of the stuff you see on the internet, I know this sounds cocky, but a lot of people copied me. And I copied some other people too, to be fair. But I can teach you stuff very few people can teach you. I want to show you, by the way, on the health side, how I took Alex, my business partner, and he added 30 pounds of lean muscle in less than 8 months. Completely transformed. If you see him in videos, you see how much healthier he is now. You need to learn how to stay healthy while you improve your life. Most people get so focused on one thing that the other thing falls apart. Don't do that. I'm going to show you techniques on growing a podcast. I think last year I had the #1 business podcast in the world. Sometimes I focus on it, sometimes I don't. But for those of you who love podcasts, I can show you how to crush a podcast. I want to show you how to travel the world and have fun and get paid for it. With free hotel rooms and free points. I'm going to show you how to, I was just talking to a guy who was a business partner now, but he's young, he made all this money, millions of dollars, and he's getting scammed as he tries to invest his money. I want to show you, it's not enough to just make money, you have to know how to keep your money. I want to talk about credit, how simple techniques you can expand your credit base. You should have millions and millions in credit if you really want to grow your business. Then you can use other people's money, and you got to use it wisely. Show you how to build business credit, show you how to improve your credit score. These are vital, and they don't teach these in school. It's a tragedy of epic proportions. I want to talk about the truth about going to college. I want to talk about what do you do when you don't have any capital, any money to start a business. I want to talk about the fun things in life. Should you buy a Lamborghini? Should you not? Some people say it's a horrible investment. Some people, should you get a nice house? Like, what should you do? Talk about that. I want to talk about only 2 things you have to measure if you want to know if you're actually getting physically healthier. Most of this stuff, weight, scale, none of this matters. I want to talk to you about, I'm working on a book called The $1 Million Body. I've spent $1 million experimenting with everything. Every supplement, anything, crazy things, I've tried them. I've tried every diet plan, vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, keto, blah, 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 blah. I want to share with you what I learned, okay? Especially, it's different when you're also busy. Anybody can get in great shape if you're just a pro athlete or something. But I want to talk about how you do it. How do you grow wealth without sacrificing your health? I want to talk about Snapchat, YouTube, Twitter. How I got 1 million followers on all of them. I think actually Twitter I have like 600,000 or 700,000. I want to show you how I generated a couple I'm now over 2 billion minutes watched on my YouTube. I want to talk to you really about how to work half as hard and get twice the results. The point of life is not to work harder and harder and harder and harder. It's actually to work smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. That's why Carnegie, I said, only worked 2 hours a day. Because he learned how to be smarter and smarter. Yeah, you got to grind at the beginning because you're not that smart, but you should be getting less of a grind. Warren Buffett, probably the smartest business person of our time. He's like, I read. I just sit and read all day. He's not working and he's not frantic. He's working smarter and smarter and smarter every day. I want to show you how to turn real estate, leverage it with Airbnb, turn it into a money-making machine. Okay? That's a lot. I just read 58 things, and there's over 300 more. So here's the deal. I've given you a preview. Jump in the special test group. Just click the link, get in. You'll see it's insanely cheap. The way I priced it, you're 2 years upfront plus, and let me just talk about this. So I charge just for the live coaching, group coaching that you're getting, like double or triple what you're paying for everything. So like you're basically saving, if you try to buy this separate, is like $2 grand. Okay, I'm not even pricing this is less expensive than the price of a community college. Okay, this is cheap. Just get in. It'll transform your life. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is ready, the money will appear. I've learned that every time. You know, to buy this business that I just bought, I remember looking back and being like, bought my first car in Mitsubishi Galant, and I was like, oh, it's $200 a month. How am I gonna be able to afford that? I was stressed over that. Now, when you start buying companies like this, you're talking millions and millions of dollars just flying everywhere to make deals like this happen. But you know what? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is ready, the money will appear. So I've priced this, not the cheapest thing you'll ever do, but 100 times cheaper than college if you live in the U.S. So, well, if you go to a more expensive school, even more than 100 times. But like I said, I priced it cheaper, community college. Click this link, jump in. I'm telling you, got a 100% money back guarantee. Let me take you from a white to black belt and everything that I've learned, everything that's transformed my life. So click the link, you'll get more info. Look forward. I want to take 300 of you and put you in my 300 group. Okay? Talk to you soon.